Riders communicate with their horses using pressures we call aids or cues. The natural aids are weight, legs, hands, and voice. Riders use this circle of aids to create a corridor of pressure that asks the horse to perform a specific combination of gait, rhythm, and direction. Even though we don't use one natural aid in isolation from the others, we will be discussing each one separately in this video series on natural aids. Our first video was on how we shift our weight to cue the horse to slow down or turn. If you haven't watched that video, I will link it below. In this video, we will be discussing our leg aids and how they affect the horse's movement. Remember this simple concept. The rider's right leg pressure influences the horse's right hind leg because it signals the muscle group that controls that leg. The rider's left leg pressure influences the horse's left hind leg. The basic leg influences are leg on, or a driving leg, and leg off. Driving leg pressure asks the horse for movement or for energy. When a leg is off the horse, there is no pressure from the leg on that side. It is also important to remember the degree of leg pressure can vary. Variable leg pressures allow a sophisticated conversation between horse and rider. A rider can ask the horse for a working trot, medium trot, a collected trot, or extended trot with various leg pressures. There is no set degree of pressure that the rider will need to use. It will depend on the horse's training level, personality, and physical sensitivity. The rider's end goal should be to communicate with the lightest aids possible, invisible to anyone watching. Whenever we create a corridor of aids for our horse, it is important to always leave an opening for the horse to move to, opposite the pressure. For example, if the rider turns and looks to the left, then turns her shoulder to the left, then increases the pressure of her right leg, the horse will move away from that pressure. The horse will bend their spine away from the weight pressure on their back. The rider's left leg is off, providing an opening to the left for the horse. The horse picks up the right hind and moves it both over and forward instead of just forward. The left rein aid gently reinforces the turn. We want the horse's whole spine, from the head to the tail, to form a smooth arc along the curve of the turn, kind of like a banana. Ideally, the rider should have their driving leg just behind the girth or cinch. In order to use leg aids correctly, the rider must not grip with the thigh muscles or the knees. A tight grip with your legs around the horse's ribs will lift you out of the saddle, and you will lose your deep seat or balanced seat. Gripping with the thigh muscles or knees locks the hip joint. The hip joint acts as the rider's shock absorber. If the rider locks her hip joints, she cannot follow the horse's motion and therefore cannot apply leg aids effectively. If you experience hip pain after your ride, you may be tensing your muscles during your ride. If the rider moves their upper body too much, it throws off their balance, and the leg aids will not be clear to the horse. Be sure to sit in the saddle on your seat bones. All of your balance and much of your control relies on how you sit in the saddle. Many novice riders sit on the crotch instead of on the seat bones. Keep your legs directly under your hips. Your body should be aligned from your ear all the way to your heel. Angle your feet so that your heel is lower than your toe. Turn your toes slightly out so that your lower leg has more contact with the horse's body. Your legs should touch the horse's body from the thigh down to the ankle. We may not realize it, but our horse is always asking questions while we ride. They are always seeking to understand what we want. It is our responsibility to provide clear and understandable cues to our horse so they clearly know what we want. We should do the same thing in our lives. We need to seek out God and ask Him what He wants us to do. We should make prayer and daily Bible reading a consistent part of our life. Through this, God can communicate to us how we should walk in our lives and how we should treat others. Life isn't easy, and there are always hard and confusing things that come into our lives. Many times we don't know how to respond to them or how to improve the situation. We can get mired in desperation and feelings of hopelessness. When we feel God is far from us, it's not Him that wandered. It's us. We walked away. Maybe not on purpose, but we took our eyes off of God and followed our own path. God is only a simple prayer away. He desires us to seek Him and follow Him daily. If any of you lack wisdom, he should ask of God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to him. James 1:5.